Okay, so here is a schematic of the game. It may look complicated, but it's really not that complicated. So I will explain, and hopefully that now you can get an idea of where we're heading. Okay, so right now we are here in this first box here, the menu. This is where you'll be designing, right? You'll be designing this whole week here. So we got this done, hopefully by, with the weekend or by early next week. So the whole idea is when we start the game, we're going to have one main game form, and this is the blue box here. This is where everything occurs in that main form logic, okay, where we have all the global variables. I showed you yesterday where we store the volume control and the hero information. All those stuff will be contained within this main form here. Okay, so we load the game. We load this form. And the first thing that's going to happen inside this game is, of course, we're going to load the step one here. It's kind of small, but you load the loading screen. Okay, that's team, I think team 3. We'll load that screen, and when the screen is loaded, and then it's going to come back to step 2 in here, and then now the step 2 will load the main menu screen. Okay, so load the main menu screen here. And then within the main menu, we have all these options. We have the credit screen. You can link from there. So when we click the credits, it's going to load Team 1's credit menu screen. And if you look at the arrows, they are bidirectional. That means you can go back and forth, right, between the main menu and the credit screen. And so each of these boxes are separate forms. That's why we are linking from here, from the main menu form, out to the credits form, and then when we close that credits form, it's going to go back to the main menu form. Okay, and then from there on, if you click the options, again, we set the information here. What I did not show here is that actually there should be another arrow that talks to the main form here. Let me add that right now before I forget, because this option needs to communicate with the main form here, right? Because when we change the volume controls, it's going to affect the overall data here. So the data arrow means they're not directly connected, but you can get data from between the two. Okay, but how to get to the options menu is you will go to the main menu first, and then you can also reload the loading screen if you want to. We could do that. Maybe have another menu button to link to that loading screen, and then from there we have to kind of decide whether we want to go back to the loading again or just come back here. Maybe we'll decide on that one. And then we have a start game. Okay, so when we start the game, so when we load the menu, we're not going to see this in the background. Okay, this is just happening to be behind the background, so this will not be visible. The visible one will be just the main menu at this point. And then when we click the start button, it's going to go back to the main form, and then from there we'll load the other screen over here. On the right side, we load the main town or the main place where our hero will start, right? So we go to this screen over here, and then now this screen you have all these 4 quests. So now we just have 4. And so inside this logic here, as you can see all these data arrows, that means they still talk to the main form because we're going to be passing data back and forth, right? So that's how they are. So now if you click on quest 1, it's going to take you to another form. That's your team 1's responsibility, right? That's your design. So everything here will have something similar, and you have your own local data in here, but you'll be using some global data from the main game. Like again, the volume control will be accessed from here. You can access, that means if you go from here to here, you can also have access to the main menu, right? So we could also load that because maybe at any given time you want to access the options control and to control volumes, okay? So we can do that as well. But anything occurs in each of these quests will have data going back and forth between your level or your quest game and the overall game logic. So when we have a battle or something like that and we lost HP for our character, we have to update the data, right, from the main form. So that's how it's going to be very similar to all these 4 different quests. Okay. And also what I don't yeah, so again, this is bidirectional. When you complete the quest, it's going to take you back to the town. Or when our hero dies, then I think we just make it so that we will come back to town again. And, you know, they can choose to complete the same quest, or they can just move on to a different quest, right? Or quit the game, right? You can all have all that too. All that too. I didn't put that arrow here, but it's all should be accessible to the quit option. And then inside this logic, you see that I added 4 classes here. Okay, these are like I have a hero class, item class, enemy class, and weapon class. This is just an example. We may or may not have to use them at all. But if you do use them, then this is how you would use it because it's very efficient. And I'll show you next week when I start adding the hero class into the game. Okay, and so you can see how useful these classes will be when we put together. So that means our hero is inside this game logic here, okay, the main logic. So when we access the data in here to increase or decrease our hero's HP level from any of these quests, we go to this dotted line. Okay, the dotted line here is I showed you yesterday just by going to like form main dot hero dot HP equals a new number, right? You can update it like that. And if you want to load an enemy, or again, the enemy could be inside the main class here, or we could move this all together inside your own level because maybe each quest have its own type of enemies. Okay, but that is something that we again will think about. And then the items will be similar. Maybe items here refer to the items that our hero can have or collect, right? And we just have to have a list of all those items. Okay. The reason why they're classes is because if you're not familiar with object-oriented programming yet, if you are, that's great. If not, you will understand. So that classes allows you to build objects. Okay. Objects has properties like colors and size and weight, right, and all those stuff. That's why it's more efficient to create a class for item. If an item is a plant, for example, then we have the name of the plant. It's an attribute. The type of the plant. What does it do, right? Is it a negative type of plant, or is it a positive one? As a healing plant or something like. Reminds me of Resident Evil, but something like that. Same thing with weapons. Okay, what type is it? What does it do? What is its strength? What's its limitation? All those features can be added to the weapon, to each weapon. That's why you have classes here. Okay, and once you see it in action, you'll see that it's very, very powerful. Not just for game development, for anything that you do with this type of design, object-oriented programming. All right, so I want to show that here, and again, it's in the document, so you can go in and take a look at it and so kind of see where the logic occurs and how you design your game. So that means you're going to have one main form here, one menu form, one loading form. All these are forms: credits form, options form. We have the town form, and then we're going to have one form for your quest 1, quest 2, quest 3, quest 4. We have a lot of forms all together in the same program, same project, right? And so the challenge is how to connect or link all of these together. Okay, and I know it's pretty advanced stuff, but I think once you get the picture, once you understand it, and once you see how, and I'll help you go through the code, see the code, how they work, you realize that this is a very common way of how games are designed. So if you ever go to like explore like Unity 3D or other game engines, they will look very similar. Okay. Okay, so I just want to show you that one, and then for the rest of the class, again, today is lab day, so I'll just leave it to you to work on your homework. Again, remember we still have homework assignments, and except for this week. Okay, this week just your project here is your homework assignment. I did not assign any homework assignment for this week in Unit 9, so I think that's the only one.